Hi and welcome to the second in a two-part series of videos looking at the Google results pages, the SERP, for the term Luxury Chocolates UK. In the previous video I looked at three sites that were doing well on the first page of Google but could still have improved their SEO to have ranked better. This time I'm looking at some results on page 2, which is arguably more interesting. These are sites that are already liked by Google, they're already known and acknowledged, so they're being ranked. But there are some things around the edges that just aren't working quite well enough for them to get onto page 1. And so for me, these are the ones that are kind of more interesting to look at because they're almost there and probably don't need much of a nudge just to get them that last step onto the first page. And like I said last time, if you are one of the 4 websites that are featured in this video and you'd like a full audit, I will do that completely complimentary, no charge. It's the least I can do for having your input towards my content that's helping other small business e-commerce owners to improve their websites. My name's Adam. I've been an SEO for 10 years now, and most of that time has been in e-commerce. And I still get a kick out of helping smaller e-commerce businesses improve their SEO and grow. So the first one of those I'm going to look at today is called Hamilton's Chocolatiers, and you can see it on the screen now. This site already has 200 keywords ranking on the first page of Google, so it's doing okay, and it has a domain ranking of only 4, so it's not got many backlinks, which is one of the main things it could do to improve its chances of getting more keywords onto the first page. It's a luxurious looking site, a very tempting video running on the home page and above the fold, but no call to action, no click here for this. It's not seasonal, they're not talking about Christmas, it's the middle of December now. So it is a very nice video, but I don't know how hard it is working for their business in getting people to transact with them or explore the website. I also notice it here, it doesn't actually say the word chocolate. But if I look in the headings, let's see what it says for these guys. Yeah, so Hamilton's Chocolate is the H1, but then it doesn't actually have the word chocolate. It says the Chocolate Chronicles, which is their blog, but other than that, it doesn't actually have the word chocolate on the homepage in any of the headings. But you scroll down and you quickly get into gifts and the products themselves. Now, one of the biggest challenges that I found for Hamilton's is a reputational one. So at the bottom here, they've got a customer rating 4.3 out of 5, which, on the face of it is a good rating, and it's great to have that trust signal on the homepage. But when you click through to the ratings and reviews, you see that they haven't actually had any since December last year. This is the newest review. And these 5-star reviews look great, but if I look at lowest first, which were also coming in last year, there are 4 1-star reviews coming in last year, and none of them have had a reply. And they're all complaining that they've not had a reply, even though they're contacting the business. So from Hamilton's perspective, and from any small business owner's perspective, the number one thing you can do if you're going to get a bad review, obviously avoid that if you can, but if you're going to get a bad review, at least respond to the review, especially if you're going to draw attention to it on the homepage of your website. So let's click back to Hamilton's themselves, the website itself. And the one thing I wanted to have a look at here was their blog, because they are the only one of the 4 sites I'm looking at today that's had a go at blogging, and they've not had too bad a go. They're kind of in the right idea. The poem about chocolate truffles, okay, I'm not sure that's bringing in much traffic, but is 100% cocoa chocolate good for you? The history and recipe of chocolate truffles, kind of on the right idea. Now, they haven't blogged for over a year, so it's not something they've stuck with, but I think their problem is they've just gone a little bit too high up the sales funnel, and they would have had more success and it would have been more useful to their business if they were a bit lower in that sales funnel, a bit closer to the transaction itself. So they could have tackled things like what's the best chocolate to have with Christmas dinner, or what's the best time of year to buy chocolates, or how much should luxury chocolate cost, those kinds of things. They would make ideal middle of the funnel blog post keywords to focus upon. And of course in Google Search Console, if they have a look in their own Search Console, I've no doubt they'll find plenty of questions that are being asked that they could answer. So there's some opportunity for Hamilton's. Let's move on to the second site, which is Rumsey's Handmade Chocolates. Now these guys have got a DR of 32, a domain rating of 32, so they've got a decent number of backlinks. They've got a great bit of authority there to build on with some technical SEO. They've also got about 130 keywords ranking on page 1, so they're doing well. Google recognises them, and this is the point I want to make time and again in this video. These are websites that Google recognises and are doing well, and with just a bit of optimising would be doing much better than they already are. Interestingly, these guys have a focus on workshops. Now have a look here. Now I suspect there's a decent bit of profit in here, but they're not sitting on top of it from a timing perspective. So I'm filming this on in the middle of November, and these first three, apart from the fact these first two are exactly the same course, just in a different location, so it would be better to figure out how to offer that course and then the location in the drop down. But this course is also a 20th of October, so all three of these courses are no longer available. They're out of date. And then when we move into the other courses, so if I have a look here, for example, this chocolate bar making workshop, fabulous idea, £35. But they've been having a few problems with this, the ticket booking app that they use. Sometimes it's loading in and sometimes it's not. I also found it a little bit on the confusing side, because you've got these chocolate bar gift vouchers down here that all seem to be part of the same checkout process. And so you select the 25th of January next year, for example, and then I'm thinking, well, what am I supposed to pick? I'm not sure what I'm supposed to pick. And there's nothing that says, there's no click here, there's a next here, but actually that takes you to the gift vouchers, and I don't want the gift vouchers. And so I found out what you have to do is you have to click this 230, and then it finally moves you on to booking the ticket themselves. So, and you can see, just trying to show you here, that it's quite a confusing process. It really doesn't need to be that difficult. But the point I was going to make from an SEO perspective is this is not an optimized page. It does say chocolate workshops. It's not actually ranking for chocolate workshops, and that's partly because it's got no content on it at all other than these massive images. And if I look in the headings, it literally is just the word chocolate workshop as the headings. So there's no description here. There's no great use of the meta title. So a lot could be done to improve this, and they would rank much more effectively for it because of their authority in this space. Let's look at something more positive. So I've looked at the Christmas section. Got a fabulous number of Christmas gifts. The photography is awesome. It's all very clear. It's very large. It's very compelling. And I've no doubt they'll do very well over Christmas. Some things that I would change, again, it's not particularly well optimized. There's no, or there is some text on it, very little text at the bottom here, but it could be optimized further for sure. And this filter, the filters are a great idea. We're going to see two sites in a moment that don't do filtering at all. So the filtering is a great idea, but it's just a little bit overkill. That most of these things have only got like one or two products in them. And there's a problem here. There are two advent calendars, but if I filter on advent calendar at the bottom here, it strips one of them out. So it's not being used brilliantly, but it is certainly better than not having it at all. And the recurring theme is obvious, that these are amazing chocolatiers. The imagery is fantastic, and from reading the reviews, I've no doubt that the chocolate is fantastic as well. But their SEO, their optimization is just not quite on point, and it's that lack of attention to SEO detail that is keeping them on page 2, rather than utilizing the very strong authority they've got and boosting themselves onto page 1 and getting all that extra traffic which comes with being organically visible much higher up the rankings. Okay, my third site is Dunn Chocolatier. This site has got a domain rating of 25, so good, not amazing, but certainly good enough to be on page 1, looking at the peer group that we compared them to last week. And it's got about 100 keywords on the first page. Now, I don't want to get too deep into business critiquing because I'm here to do SEO, but one thing that stuck out to me immediately was personalised lollipops click and collect. So I clicked on those because that's the headline call to action on the site, and this is a £3 product. So I was then thinking, right, well, how much is it going to cost me to get a £3 product delivered? And there is no page telling me, or I certainly couldn't find it, there was no page telling me what delivery charges are, and that's a bog standard well-known turn off for shoppers not being able to find out what the delivery charges are. So that should just be really clear in your footer, a link to the delivery charge page. Now, I actually found out by going all the way through the checkout that it's £3.99. So for a £3 product, I'm paying £3.99 delivery charge. Clearly, I'm not going to be ordering that online. So it begs the question why such a low margin product would be the one that this business has chosen to have above the fold when I'm guessing there's very little in the way of margin in it. All that said, if you scroll below the personalised lollipops, you do get into some fabulous looking chocolates. Now, this is more like what I was expecting. Big luxury boxes of chocolates, £65, £85. That's exactly the kind of product I would expect above the fold. And what Simon Dunn is doing well, he's got Christmas here in the menu, so that makes it very clear that it's a priority for the site. And of course, you know, regardless of what I've just said about the personalised lollipops, talking about Christmas or having that Christmas theme in the image is at least saying we are acknowledging that Christmas is here. So let's have a look at the Christmas category page. From an SEO perspective, again, the heading is Christmas. That's so undescriptive. You've got to remember that Google is just a mathematical algorithm. It's not a person, it's not intelligent, it's just math. And it's looking at Christmas and going, okay, it's a page about Christmas. No, it's a page about Christmas chocolate gifts. That's what people are searching for. Or boxes of chocolates for Christmas. That's the kind of heading that you need on this page, not just Christmas. To be fair to Simon, it does say Christmas chocolate gifts for the whole family here, which is great, but have it in the H1, please. That makes a big difference. And we've got very little in the way of content again on the page, so I'm not sure what that is. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, 29 words. You know, we can spare a few more words on this page to target some of those semantically relevant and similar phrases that people might be typing in to find their chocolate Christmas gifts. The other criticism I've got here, only 8 products on the page. It's a bit of a bind. I've got to go through 3 pages just to look at, 30 products, and not even 30 products. So have them all on a page, but you get the idea. Just make it easier to shop. But otherwise, fabulous site and clearly doing good business already. And with a bit of commitment, with a bit of focus, would be moving on to page 1. Finally then, I'm going to turn to the Highland Chocolatier, Ian Burnett, fabulous looking site. He's world famous basically for his truffles. I strongly recommend finding his YouTube channel. In fact, I'll put a link to it in the description below this video, and look at the Tom Kerridge video showing the experience that he provides in store and how he makes his chocolates. It's all very inclined to make one drool if one likes chocolates. From a website perspective, Ian's site is getting about 175 keywords onto the first page, so he's doing well, and he's the strongest from an authority perspective. He's got a DR of 39, which is really good, and there's no reason that all the keywords that I've seen are on page 2 for him at the moment, which is about 130. There's no reason that we couldn't push most of those onto page 1 with targeted work on the website, and that would effectively double his traffic to the site, his organic traffic. So things to look out for here. Well, for some reason there are H1s all over the place. So H1 is the primary heading. There should only be one on the page because this is the heading that says this is what this page is about, and it should be unique on the website. So whatever the H1 is on page A should never appear again on page B, C, D, E, F, and so on. What's going on here, I'm not quite sure, but there are 5 different H1s on the homepage alone. There are multiple H1s on all the pages, so that's quite confusing for Google's algorithm to parse out the most important meaning for the page. And then there are things you can see. Look, we are really focused on Christmas right now, which is fabulous to see. The marketing team are on point. One thing I would say to look out for, where the SEO team and the marketing team might clash a little bit, this bit here, so the home of the world's best truffles. And I was watching Ian's video, and he has actually created what's been recognised as the world's best truffle. The problem here is this fancy flourish is not part of this title. So this is an H2. The H2, as far as Google is concerned, says the home of the world's. It does not say the home of the world's best truffles. So your tech guy needs to find a way of making that all one H2 and not 2 separate bits where this is just text and this is an H2. Now if I scroll back up to the top and look in the menu, it's got some fabulous, unique feeling keywords in here. So whiskey pairings, coffee pairings, tea pairings. So all pages designed to talk about the best chocolates, the best truffles to go with these, and based in Scotland, makes a lot of sense that they'd be talking about whiskey. And this page ranks well for whiskey and whiskey chocolates. It would rank better if, again, it was optimized. There's no text on the page. It says whiskey pairings, but it doesn't talk about chocolate at all anywhere on the page. Even the product names aren't chocolate. It's Macallan whiskey pairings and Glenmorangie whiskey pairings. So there's potential to optimize there. If we look at the H1s, which is the problem I just talked about a moment ago, so the Ian Burnett's collection, this is an H1, this is an H1, there's a blank H1 on the page, so that needs tidying up. And then the pedant in me was triggered by this. It's not rows we're sorting by, it's columns. There are 3 columns at the moment, and if I click that, there are 4 columns. It's not rows, it's columns. And then let's have a look at Christmas, because I thought that was also interesting. If I can find it over here. And again, we've got the same H1 problem. So this is an H1, this is an H1, and then this is an H1. So Ian, if you ever watch this video, please tidy that up. This should be text, that should be text, and that should be an H1. And then I've already made this comment on an earlier competitor of yours. Technically they are Christmas gifts, but you're trying to rank in Google organically. So they are chocolate Christmas gifts or Christmas chocolate gifts. Make it clear what they actually are, and that makes it more likely that those are the keywords. These are the search terms that you're going to rank on page 1 for. And it's for that lack of focus that the reason this Christmas gifts page isn't actually ranking for a single keyword according to Ahrefs. For me, a lovely site, really clean, really professionally designed, and with a strong authority. That DR of 39, a really strong authority, is not going to take a lot of pushing to shift these page 2 keywords onto page 1, or to get a page like this Christmas gifts page to actually start ranking for the chocolate Christmas gifts that it ought to be ranking for. So that brings me to the end of this video and the end of talking about chocolate for now, sadly. There are 2 things I'd like you to take away from this video. The first one is, if you're on page 2, Google already knows you, it already likes you, and it likes your website enough to rank it in the top 20 positions, which probably means you don't need to do a lot of SEO, a lot of optimizing, just to move on to page 1, and page 1 will bring you significantly more traffic than page 2 ever will. The other thing you should bear in mind, and you'll have noticed from this video and the last one, and particularly if you put the 2 together, there are always several competitors that are in roughly the same position as you. It only takes one of those to realise how valuable SEO is to their business, and they will start leaving you behind. It will be them that goes onto page 1. It will be them that gets the traffic that you didn't get because you didn't quite spend the time optimizing your pages for Google. Now, if that's inspired you to work out what could be done to your e-commerce website to improve its position in Google, then just scan this QR code here and I will be more than happy to audit your site and give you valuable feedback and advice onto how you can be ranking higher than you are today. That's it for now though. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found it valuable. Leave any questions in the comments and I'll reply there, or contact me, adam@minsterseo.com. Take care.